I've got some of the cuttings made here. I got a few of them. I'm gonna go ahead and start showing y'all how we put them in. This one's a little long. I'm gonna trim it off, just a little bit off of it. I'm gonna take the sharp side of my clippers, the part that's got the sharp edge on it, and I'm gonna take at the bottom of this stem, and I'm gonna scrape just a little bit of the bark off of that stem. The reason I'm doing that is that gives a little more surface area for this stem to pick up a little bit of moisture until it starts putting on roots. It also gives a little more surface area for the roots to start. If you just take it and just cut it straight off, all the surface area you have where it can pick up any moisture and put out roots would be right around the very bottom of the stem. And different plants are different. Some plants, you can stick the stem down in water, potting soil, whatever you're using to root it in, and anywhere it's below the surface, roots will come out. Some plants don't do that as well. Some plants, the roots only come out right around where the bark is cut on the stem. So by scraping it a little bit, that gives a little more surface area where if it's a type of plant that the roots don't come out, and even plants that'll put roots out anywhere, in a lot of cases they'll root better where you scrape it just a little bit. So I take them and scrape them like that, and we'll do a few of these here. And green Ligustrums are fairly easy. They root pretty good. I could stick these in here without scraping this little piece off of them, and most likely they would root, be perfectly fine. But I do this anyway to kind of give them make them a little bit better. So I got several of these done. Some plants it's more important to do that little scraping with than others. Now I'm going to take this. I got a cup of water here. I'm going to dip it down in that cup of water and then dip it into my rooting hormone. This powder I got here, this is rooting hormone. It's a natural plant hormone that kind of kick-starts the plant into putting on roots. And the reason, by the way, I got this little bottle right here of rooting hormone. I put it in this little tiny cup to use it because I don't use a whole bunch of this at one time. It doesn't take much to do 1 or 2 trays of this stuff, and because I'm dipping the cuttings into this cup of water to wet them a little bit so the rooting hormone sticks better. If I was dipping it directly down into this bottle, number one, when I got short stems, it'd get hard to reach it down in there. Number two, I'd wind up wetting some of it, it would get caked up, and I would waste more of it if I tried to do it directly out of that. These trays, I filled these up. This is a mixture of about 60%, 70% peat moss, and 30 or 40% perlite. I think I've done a 2-to-1 ratio, so that'd be closer to 70-30. But this is a mixture of peat moss and perlite. I mixed it up, wet it, and I put it in the greenhouse under our mist head, under our misters on the table in there for a couple days to make sure it was good and wet before we started doing these cuttings. And I'll just keep going along just like this. And I'll do at least 1 tray. I've got plenty of these. I got more of these plants I still haven't trimmed. So I've got plenty of these. I'm sure I could do 2 trays if I wanted to easily, because this is what I got right here is what I've trimmed off of about 4 plants so far. I've only trimmed 4 plants, and I got, I think, 25 or 30 of them. So I know I can get plenty of cuttings to do at least 2 trays, that I'll have to decide if I'm gonna do just 1 tray, because these do root pretty well. So there'll be 72 cuttings in this tray. I'll probably get at least 60 plants out of this, because these usually root pretty easily. And that's quite a few plants. I'll probably get at least 60 or 65. So I'll decide if I want to do, I'll fill this one up and then decide what everything looks like and if I want to do another. Now that's what I had done so far. I got to sit here and make me some more cuttings now, and we'll just continue with this process until we get this tray filled up. You go ahead and pause that.